Hello everyone, this is Fistulum, and I'm back. And do not be alarmed. It still registers us as having beat Fishman, and all our weapons are refilled. In case you're wondering how I have 8 lives, there was apparently some password problem with the last video, and so I ended up redoing the stage and having to resave, even though I'm pretty sure I saved in the last time. But thankfully in the redoing run I was a lot luckier with the 1-ups. And so that's how I have 8. Unfortunately I still do not have any E-tanks, and that might be a problem. Anyhow, let me explain these igloo enemies. They essentially shoot ice cubes that take several shots to destroy, and they themselves can be a bit tanky. Actually, not really. They can be a tiny bit problematic, though not really. So what you want to do here is, after the first ice block comes down, step on this platform and wait for the other 2 to drop down. Due to sprite limitations, the igloo can't release more than 3 ice cubes at a time, so thankfully there's that. A lot like somehow Mega Man's Buster limitations. Yeah, this one can be a bit tricky if you don't have the timing down, pretty much. And because I really like 1-ups, I'm really glad the Charade clone can actually pick items and power-ups up. Now this one you can scroll the first one off screen, and the other ones you essentially need a good mashing finger. And you also need better timing with these things. Thankfully I think that's the last we'll be seeing of them. I'll take you out from the distance. And I think I'll summon Eddie here as a safe point. A tank, very useful. Another attempt. Just what I wanted. Perfecto. Anyhow, this music really seems to fit in with the freezer theme here. I mean, it's an interesting ice stage. You've got the obligatory ice blocks, but again, it seems a bit more modern with the actual freezer and air conditioner parts here. Apparently you respawn. I don't exactly like enemy respawning unless I'm farming for power-ups, which I'm not. And here, because I absolutely love power-ups like the 1-up, Shock Gauntlet is really awesome. Yeah, just slightly inching forward. This jump might be a bit problematic, as you can see. Yeah, that one is a bit precarious, though. It's not really as bad as, say, Power Man or Fishman. So thank God for that. You really want to get your timing down here just right. Now what I was doing... Let me get rid of you. Getting right over here. Mashing finger works here. Let us jump. I was supposed to jump. I'm not so sure what happened there. I pressed the jump button. Yeah, that one might be a bit problematic, but thankfully it's really only that one jump that's that problematic in this stage. I'll try something a little trickier. Jump. Now let's do this right this time. Yeah. Wait for it to shoot an ice block, then I can just unload on it like that. Yes, because I really care about having a full health bar. And that jump is not really as problematic as it may look. Here, this is an instance where I'm glad the Buster can go through walls. Yeah, the snowman enemy, usually if it detects you without a wall in between, in front of it, it'll stop moving and throw its shovel at you like a boomerang. It doesn't do so much damage, but once the snowman comes down, once the snowman is down, it'll explode and the 3 parts will launch like that. Yeah, this one is a bit easier since with all the huge distance it gives you a good deal of time to get a shot in. Let me just go over here. Aye. And since I really like E-tanks, and I really like this charade cone, I'm just gonna drop you in a pit so I don't have to make the return trip. But in any case, the charade cone is really one of the more useful types of weapons. I mean, you don't really see many weapons. I think the only real weapon like that would be the soul body in Mega Man X4. But but other than, or maybe in terms of fan games, the Yoku attack but the soul body and this one are the only 2 that you really get to control, and I keep forgetting about that one E-tank. Oh well, I'm higher than I usually am on E-tank supplies, and I don't really need them in this particular stage. Aye. And here we have these snowflake things that are a lot like the Chankies and Fireman stage, except they're made of ice, and if you shoot, they have larger hitboxes, and if you shoot them, they will have shots that split into 6 before they completely disappear. And of course, that can be somewhat annoying. Oh well. It's so fun to just use the virus outbreak and take everything out. Hopefully that should be the last we see of them. Yeah, be careful. There is a particular screw cannon, or screwdriver, or what is it called? Screw bomber. And this is amusing to watch. Pits of water, since you can't walk on them, you have this giant enemy nose. Somewhat reminds you of Nose Pass and Pro Pass, but it's very amusing how you have... Hold on. You have a nose freezing the way for you. And that's something that's really amusing me. Be careful though, as the ice does not last forever, but since there's not really anything hard to dodge, you can usually make it through and onto a solid platform before everything's too late. Aye. Also, interestingly, it's counted as a separate platform from the default platforms, and so enemies like the Indiana Jones Tomb Raider guy can't actually make it on, and we're already at the boss. For a word of warning though, this boss can be pretty hectic. It's also a 2-parter, the first part being this giant thing. Now if it drops a snowball, be far away from it. If it drops these snowballs, be very careful, and if it drops an ice cube, that's your chance to jump on it and get high enough to get in shots, unless you're using Robot Masters that can hit him anyhow. Yeah, and to be honest, this, unlike the last one, the first phase is the somewhat trickier phase in this one. And the reason I'm glad I have E-tanks now, again, for whatever reason, this boss doesn't have any weaknesses either. I don't know, to be honest, I can see both ways where they're going with not giving the alternative of the other 8 Robot Masters weaknesses. I can see that it somewhat adds to the challenge, and it doesn't really let you, say, have a broken fight with any of them just by having an extra advantage of this weapon does so much damage. But at the same time, it seems like it seems to get away from the classic. And I guess I can get behind that. Yeah, this part can really be hectic, and I forgot to use an E-tank when I needed to. I was about to. Also, is it just me, or does it seem like there's a weird looking face moth thing in the ice cubes? I don't know, or is it just me? Yeah, that one can be somewhat hard to dodge. Yeah, the snowball is. Come on, release your ice cube. Yeah, this can be challenging and hectic, but overall it's not too bad. Hold on. Ouch. Also, somewhat amusing to see the power-ups move automatically to the top of the Again. Let me check how many. You know, I think I'll summon Eddie now, just to be on the safe side of things. Assuming he gives me extra lives and E-tanks. Considering this boss can be a bit tricky if you don't know when to use your E-tanks, and like me, and are somewhat challenged by that. But in any case, I think I'm looking pretty good, hopefully, for this fight. Yeah. It can be pretty tricky trying to actually get a hit on him while trying to avoid everything. Especially considering the ice blocks remove somewhat quickly, and the snowballs have somewhat of a rather large range of attack. I'm just gonna be on the safe side and use an E-tank now. Now, just curious. Tango, can he do anything in this boss fight? I'll take that as a negative, considering this boss is only weak in the well-designed eyes. I have to say, there's something about the eyes of this giant zamboni robot that's really interesting. Not so sure what the real word is for here, but oh well, this thing is nearly down. Of course, yep. Of course, controls aren't exactly in my favor. Hopefully this should be either the last E-tank or the penultimately last E-tank. Considering I'm almost at the second half of the boss fight, which is a considerable deal easier than the first. Well, for one thing, it doesn't throw nearly as many different types of attacks at you. And here we have Polar Man, apparently, as he's also known by the MMKB. Yeah, his main attacks involve having the top of his body move under the underside of the body, which somewhat seems to be a throwback to the Crazy Razies, which originally appeared in Iceman stage, now that I think of it. Now we're going to get taking another E-tank. Hey, you really don't want to let this guy corner you. This guy does like to corner you. And if he corners you, and if you don't know how to dodge and when, this can be rather tricky. But overall, interesting attack pattern. Definitely not the hardest to dodge, and definitely not the most damaging. Man, you really like to jump all over the place. Here, Snow Monkey. Come on, one more hit, and there. And anyhow, I guess that was a pretty cool stage. Anyhow, this is Alnafistilum signing out. Arrivederci!